It's called bear's breeches. I'm not quite sure what it has to do with bears. It might be the leaves, maybe they look toothed or something. But the flowers, these aren't flowering just now, but they would produce sort of purple flowers like you'd see on toad flax or something like that. We'll probably be back later on once it's flowered and you can better appreciate the nice purple flowers that they produce. We also have, this is a rowan, or a mountain ash as it's sometimes called, because its leaves are set very much like an ash's in that they're paired together and come out almost like in a string. Especially when well, with ashes at least, when I first see them beginning to open their buds, you see the leaflets coming out in a conveyor, really, like as if it were a string. These would produce like red berries in the winter time that birds quite like to eat, but they won't be producing that now. We also have hawthorn. This may well be very familiar to you if you live in the countryside, because a lot of our hedging is made of hawthorn. And I think this is called common hawthorn because, well, mind you, it and the similar Midland hawthorn do hybridize, but I'm fairly confident that it probably is a common hawthorn because the leaves are quite toothed. You know, they've got quite deep, longer lobes, whereas if in a proper Midland hawthorn, those gaps would only be about a quarter of the way, or 3/4 of the way higher, and not so strongly lobed like this, much shallower gap. This one doesn't seem to be producing its flowers. They produce lovely white flowers, which are a great draw for insects. Don't know if, I wonder if these ones could be fruiting, or maybe they might well be doing. And hawthorn, of course, is also quite prickly, and that's to deter things from eating it. But you get the idea of why I suppose they call them hawthorn. I wonder, do any of you know the difference between spines and thorns? People do sometimes talk about them as if they're the same thing, but they're actually quite two different things. Spines are like the sharpened defenses of leaves, are like leaves that are adapted to be sharp and defensive, whereas thorns like this one here, they're adapted to be, their branches adapted for defense. That's the key difference, is thorns are branches that are adapted for defense, as opposed to leaves that are adapted for defense, which would be spines.